Hi everybody, welcome to My Big Tidy Up. My name's DeDe. Thanks for tuning in today. Now today's video, it's going to be about organization. Now recently, probably just a couple of weeks ago, I did a home organization tour, and when that video was done, I got so many private messages from tidy uppers wanting to know exactly how I organized. They saw the finished product in the video, but they didn't know where to begin. They kind of wanted to know my thinking process, which is kind of a scary thought because we're going to be diving right into this mind today. But today I'm going to be sharing with you my top tips, tricks, my ideas, what I think about when I try to organize my home. So maybe if you're a beginner and you're wanting to get some organization in your home, this just might be the video for you. Or if you're a seasoned organizer, maybe this will bring up some new ideas for you. I appreciate you being here, so without any further ado, let's get to organizing, let's share those tips and tricks, and let's get tidy. Well, tip number one is do it your way and do it often. And what I'm talking about, well, it's decluttering. Now, yes, this is an organization tip video, but I can't talk about organization without talking about decluttering because the easiest way to become and stay organized is to have less items to organize. Now, we all know my closet is one of my problem areas, so I try to combat the buildup of items by scheduling declutters, and I keep this basket here so that I can throw items in that I haven't worn or I'm kind of iffy about because I need to make it easy on myself. I think sometimes we think of decluttering as this big, daunting task that it's got to be like an episode of Hoarders, but it really doesn't. Just do it your way. Maybe it's 5 minutes in each room. Maybe it's the change of each season. Do what works for you, but do something. And just because it's been decluttered once doesn't mean you won't have to declutter it again. I try to monitor the areas that I've worked on, like this closet. I set it up, I decluttered it, I put it in zones, but I still have to come back in here and check because sometimes I throw things in here. The thing is, we always will have an influx of things coming into our homes, whether it be mail, food, goods to run our homes, gifts we receive. So we have to do something to combat the buildup of items, and decluttering and keeping on top of your problem areas will definitely do the trick. Now, you don't have to keep a basket or a container in your problem areas, but for me, it works well because it serves as a reminder, and it's also so much easier just for me to throw something in a basket than rather think, oh, I need to take all these shirts and I need to fold them and put them in a box and then go donate them somewhere. I just make it easy on myself. And I have also found that small little declutters and tidy ups are so much more likely to happen than if I let it get out of control and I have to do this massive declutter that I keep putting off. And here's the thing, I saw a quote once that said, "Don't treat your home like a storage unit." And oh my goodness, did I feel called out. It hit home with me. Home is not for storing items, it's for making memories and just keeping the things I need to make those memories happen. So I really have changed my mindset. Less is better, and less is definitely easier to keep organized. Decluttering doesn't have to take that long. I didn't speed this video up at all, and I ended up decluttering 10 items, and it took me about 3 minutes. And you can tell I didn't speed up the video by the way I get up. Look at me. I'm grease lightning. Tip number 2 is birds of a feather flock together, which means keeping liked items together, keeping all of your categories together. Now, for example, yesterday I used a smaller crock pot for some dip, Now, could I find room for it here in my kitchen? Probably, it's not too big, but I want to keep it with other items that are like it, such as my larger crock pot or my roaster. And do I have room for the roaster here in my kitchen? No, I do not. So instead of separating a category, I'm going to keep the category all together. So if I am looking for anything that requires slow cooking, I'm going to know right where to find it, along with anything I need to use for these items, like crockpot liners or roaster liners. I keep it all together in one central location. These birds of a feather, they flock together, so keep your categories together, keep liked items together, and you'll always have an easier time finding your things. Now, I mentioned if the items are the same, try to organize them together. But another thing to consider is putting things that are in sequential order together. For example, we would never think twice about putting our shampoo and conditioner together because it would make absolutely no sense to separate them because we do them in sequential order. And if someone asked us, hey, why do you have your shampoo and conditioner together? Well, we'd probably say we use those together and it's convenient for them to be together. So when things are the same or you use them in a sequential order, try to organize them together. It will make it more convenient, and when things are convenient, we tend to keep them that way. Tip number 3, there's no place like home, which means give everything in your home a convenient resting place. And does it have to be the same place that somebody else might store those items? Absolutely not. Here in this guest room, I keep the top drawers empty for guests, but the bottom drawer, I keep for picture frames and extra pictures. Why? Well, because it's convenient for my family. I tend to have more pictures here in the basement, so when I'm looking to trade out pictures or put out a new picture, the basement is the likely place I'm going to do that. So I've specialized my organization for our family. Would that work for yours? Maybe not, but it does work for mine. Just like here in this other guest room, I keep the top drawers for guests, but the bottom drawers I keep for our audiobooks and books on tape. Why? Well, it's convenient for us because it's not a very far walk to get to the workout room. And when we're in the workout room, we like to listen to those. So it's a convenient place. Specialize your organization, give everything a home, and do what works for your home. Maybe you've got a linen closet. Instead of linens, you're going to keep your Christmas items in there. That is perfectly great. Do what works for your home. It's your home. It doesn't have to be like anyone else's. Now here's another place that I have organized in our home that is specific to our needs. I have this little cabinet here. Well, actually, it's a nightstand, and it's right by the back door that leads out to the garage, and it's right around the corner from the front door. Now in the top drawer, I keep yard flags because it's convenient for me to just grab a flag and walk around and go out the front door and trade the flag out. If I kept them in the shed, well, they probably wouldn't get put out too often. The same goes with the hats and the gloves in the bottom drawers. That's their designated home. And does that make sense to have hats and gloves in a nightstand by the back door? Maybe not in your home, but it does make sense in ours. And it also plays on that sequential order, because what would I do right before I walk out the door? I would put on my hats and my gloves, and out the door I would go. So it's convenient. Specialize your organization so it's convenient. Have you noticed that's the key word today? Convenient. Tip number 4, be on the lookout. And what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for wasted storage space. Many times we tend to store items that are at eye level that we can see because that usually is a convenient area, but we do forget about those high and low areas like shelving above doors or the top of your cabinetry. or those lower levels like under your bed, under your sofas. Now, don't come for me. I'm not saying cram everything under your bed, but if you do have less frequently used items, storing things in bins or bags, it's a convenient way to keep organized and keep things out of the foot traffic. And don't forget about furniture itself that doubles as storage. Now, I used to have things in this ottoman, but I have decluttered, so it is empty. But I still do have some office supplies in the other ottoman. Tip number 5, stay vertical. This applies to life too. Staying vertical is a good thing, but storing your items vertically can make such a difference. Usually when things are stored vertically, you're able to slide them in and out instead of having to lift something up and drag something out from underneath it. So it goes without saying, if it's easier to take out, it's usually easier to put away. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but when something's easier, we tend to do it. And you know what they say, the path of least resistance. And I do think going vertical gives you more bang for your buck. It gives you more real estate to work with. Now, if you think about it, think about our bigger cities. When they filled a city block, how do they expand? They go up. So always look for that upwards storage. Tip number 6, contain the madness. Now, this is my main storage closet, and this works well for me, but I believe it works well for me because I have a lot of smaller items contained in here. Now, I do have a lot of extra containers, but organizing is something I do for a living outside of YouTube, so I have extra containers that aren't being used, but I know they soon will be. And I know we're all different and we like different things. I prefer to have clear containers and see what I'm storing, but some people prefer hidden storage where you can't see what's being stored because they feel like it looks too busy. But regardless of your preference, containing your smaller items can make staying organized so much easier. Now, I love labeling, but I have made it a habit not to label anything until I'm absolutely sure it's going to stay there forever. Like these little drawers here, I used to have them labeled, but I have since found that I like to change things up in those drawers, so I no longer label them. It was just a waste of time. I have received a lot of questions about where I get my containers, what containers I like. Do I like them with lids? Do I like baskets, round containers, square containers? But for me, I will say I tend to like things with lids unless it's cleaning products that I'm storing in there where the bottle sizes may vary. The reason why I like the storage containers with lids is going back to my previous tip. When I have storage containers with lids, I'm able to stack them and go vertical and use vertical space. But I will say I do buy a lot of containers that don't have lids, and let me tell you, some of my favorite containers are the least expensive ones that I've just picked up from a dollar store. Now, you may be someone who wants to level up your organization, but say you don't have a lot of storage containers and you don't feel like investing in any. Well, you can still be organized by containing your smaller items using old Amazon boxes. You can buy a moving box from Walmart for $1. You can use old canning jars. And I actually even know someone who has one of the most beautifully organized homes I know, and a lot of her things are stored in pickle jars, and it looks amazing. Well, Tidy Uppers, that's a wrap for today. I hope this video gave you some inspiration, motivation, maybe gave you some new ideas when it comes to organizing your home. And you know, the thing is, we all have to organize our homes in a way that works for us. So if you're new at organizing, don't worry. If all of these tips don't work for you, that is fine. Just take the ones that do and leave the others behind. Find what works for you in your home. Don't compare your home to anyone else's. You don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of fancy containers. Just find a system that works for you and you will have an efficient home. I appreciate you being here. Please take care of yourself, and until I see you in the next one, stay tidy.